You got undefeated South Carolina, Iowa, led by Caitlin Clark. They're the two #1 seeds in that Albany region. And then on the Portland side, USC, led by that freshman star, Juju Watkins. You got Texas. They round out the top 2 seeds. South Carolina, odds-on favorite at ESPN Bet to win it all at -140. All right, College Game Days, Andraya Carter. She joins us now. We're going to talk some more about the women's bracket. And Andraya, you got Iowa sitting there at that top seed, especially in that Albany 2 regional. What's the chances Caitlin Clark ends what has been a remarkable season with a national title?
Okay, listen, first of all, thank you for having me. It is by far the most wonderful time of the year. I was asked earlier, is it realistic for Caitlin Clark to end with a national championship? And I would say the chances are low to answer your question. And I wouldn't say it's realistic because if Caitlin Clark and this Iowa team go on to win a national championship, it would be magical. It would be magical if Caitlin Clark leads this team to a national championship. I know Caitlin Clark is even better than she was last year, but the road is harder this season and the competition is better this season. Listen, Caitlin Clark last year, she averaged 27 points. She had a phenomenal season. In the last 4 games of the tournament, she went off for 31, 41, 41, and then 30. She played above herself in that run to the national championship game. When she scored 30, they fell short. Caitlin Clark is capable of magical things. We could see her go for 30, for 40, for 40, but I'm telling you, they have to face potentially a Kansas State team that they split with during the regular season. Kansas State got them at home, and then Iowa got Kansas State in the Gulf Coast Showcase. That's going to be a tough game. They could face LSU, who has Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow. You just mentioned Juju Watkins, who can go toe-for-toe in scoring, and then South Carolina's on the other side. So I think the chances are low, but if she gets it, it would be magical, not realistic, but Caitlin's capable of magical things, so we'll see.
Well, you know, Andraya, I know, listen, recently we've talked a lot about South Carolina, obviously LSU because they've won national championships, but people forget, past decade when we talked about on the women's side, UConn has been the behemoth. They're the #3 seed in that Portland 3 regional. Could we be sleeping on the Huskies because we talk so much about South Carolina, LSU, and Caitlin Clark in Iowa?
We definitely could be sleeping on UConn. Listen, one of the best things for UConn is Paige Bueckers has been on fire. Aaliyah Edwards on the inside. She didn't play during the Big East tournament, and that helped UConn a little bit because they had to figure out how to have success without her. Ice Brady ended up having really strong games, which could help them just as far as their confidence goes. My concern with UConn is after Aaliyah and Paige, they rely on a couple of freshmen, and freshmen being on that stage is really tough. They could face an Ohio State team that forces turnovers left and right. Ohio State's the team that knocked Connecticut out of the tournament last season. They forced 25 turnovers, so there's a lot to ask for Connecticut. My expectation for UConn is an Elite 8. They could make a push to a Final 4. I'm also a little concerned about them in the Sweet 16. So the Elite 8 for Connecticut is my soft spot and the landing spot right now.
Okay, so I can't let you go without asking the question that everybody wants to know. Is there anything that's going to stop undefeated South Carolina?
Listen, no, unless it's South Carolina, because South Carolina is the team who could beat themselves. We have seen South Carolina get off to slow starts this season. We have also seen South Carolina at times fall to the trap of bad shot selection. When they played at LSU, that first half, I thought they took quick shots. I thought they settled for jump shots. And that is them beating themselves. When South Carolina, we talked to Dawn Staley. Courtney Lyle interviewed Dawn Staley on our selection show yesterday, and she said that the standard is the standard. If South Carolina plays to their standard, I do not see a team that can beat them. If South Carolina falls short, and again, settling for jump shots, rushing on the offensive end, not playing through that 6'7" beast Camila Cardoso, then they could stumble. So I think South Carolina could be their biggest opponent when it comes to winning a national championship.